What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to give you the summary on what we know on a survivor advocate that's involved with the Andrew Tate case. Her name is Eliza Bleu. I'm going to tell you what we know for a fact about Eliza, and I'm also going to tell you what I think, and I'm also going to tell you how this all quite possibly and probably correlates directly to Andrew Tate's case and what he's dealing with. So let's begin. All right, so Eliza Bleu is someone that has been known on Twitter for the last couple years as a human blank survivor, human T-word survivor. And so, you know, the thing Andrew Tate is being accused of. And then she's also been known as a survivor advocate for those that have also fell victim to the same thing. She has done good work on Twitter the last couple years. She's done getting child exploitation off Twitter, getting certain bad things off Twitter, and you know, undeniably, she's done some good things. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that she hasn't, okay? But recently, it's come out that she's also gone by several other names, and the most recent one being Eliza Knows, who was kind of involved in the hip-hop community or pop culture scene, and she was shot some damn near pornographic videos that were posted on World Star Hip Hop. She also, rewind real quick, back to Eliza Bleu, who she currently goes by. That lady is someone that on Twitter, if you follow her, you know her as basically a right-leaning sort of conservative, you know, in terms of her politics. And she's obviously very pro-free speech, very pro-freedom is how she portrays herself. Then, when this Eliza Knows, when she was half naked in this YouTube video dancing around as Eliza Knows, she went onto Twitter. Someone shared just a screenshot from it, and she literally reported them to Elon Musk, and he banned them temporarily. I don't know if I'm pretty sure the bans have been restricted on all parties that shared that screenshot, but the point is, she grifted real quick into her true colors came out in terms of free speech, obviously pro First Amendment involves the media as well, and she immediately went into this is a non-consensual photo is what she claimed. And then very shortly after, I saw that Twitter, and I'm assuming this had to be Elon Musk, put a sort of a disclaimer on her tweet saying this was in fact a public video from World Star Hip Hop's YouTube page, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, if anybody has any interest in seeing that video, you could either go to World Star Hip Hop YouTube channel, or you could look it up on my Twitter. I shared a good chunk of the video at EvanPaul05. So anyways, so that was one thing I thought was interesting. So back to Eliza Knows. She goes by Eliza Knows. She's a Instagram influencer. I guess she's posting a lot of it. She described them as model type pics, like on her Instagram. And she was talking about in one of the interviews that I saw and watched of her recently, that was about 6 years ago, she's talking about oh yeah, professional athletes are in my DMs, and you know, and it just isn't indicative of a person that at that particular time or just shortly there before was going through what she claims to have been going through. Anyways, that was Eliza Knows, was around for I think a few years. And before that, she also went by Eliza Cuts, and then before that, Eliza Seep. And all these different Elizas were basically different personalities, right? Eliza Cuts was a punk rock girl. Eliza Seep, which I think is actually her real name, was basically the punk rock girl / country girl that she claims to be now, kind of a hybrid, if you will. And so, you know, I'm not laughing because it's funny, but I'm laughing at the irony of all this, because she, and I should add this onto her resume as Eliza Bleu, she just won an award. I think it was last night. She posted it on Twitter, or this morning, and basically Survivor Advocate of the Year or something. So if in fact this woman is completely full of crap, like it very well could be, it would really be ironic, and it would tie in perfectly to her being the survivor advocate for the two alleged victims in the Andrew and Tristan Tate case. So that's hilarious, because she went on Tim Pool about 3 weeks ago now, I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she said there was evidence, but she implied heavily, almost directly said that there was evidence coming out that Tim Pool was gonna basically eat his words on, and that because Tim was not even saying that he thought Tate was innocent, he was just saying we haven't seen any evidence, so I can't give you that he's 100% guilty. And she just really didn't like that answer. She even at one point got very Me Too-ish and was like, what does a survivor have to show you? Like, what do I have to tell you to make you believe that Tate is this monster, essentially, is what she was getting at. And Tim politely responded, evidence, to his credit. I shared a short of that on my YouTube channel if you want to check just that like part out. It was pretty funny. But in any case, we know, has gone by multiple Eliza names: Eliza Nose, Eliza Cuts, Eliza Seep, Eliza Bleu. And now the most recent personality is I understand it, is Eliza Bleu, and that is the very conservative, good girl that was really going through it, and she was a victim of some very bad stuff. And then, excuse me. And then now she has overcome that, and she is now just the hero that she is in helping other survivors go to kind of reacclimate them to being a regular person and welcoming them back to the real world, so to speak. So I think it's just so ironic, right? Like, 'cause when she went on Tim Pool's podcast, I and many other people were commenting on there like, dude, she really sounds like an idiot right now. Like, it's not the same person that we were used to seeing on Twitter, because again, her Twitter persona as Eliza Bleu was very free, pro-freedom, very right-leaning, very it just didn't align with what we saw when she was clearly trying to portray that Tate is guilty and that she knows he's guilty. And she's like, anytime Tim's line of questioning got to like, okay, how do you know he's guilty, she got really quickly back into her lane of, oh, I'm not allowed to comment on that. You know, and she's calling these women, she's calling these women survivors, when the fact is they're alleging, we don't even know what they're alleging. They're alleging that they were victims of some sort by Tate, but they're not even clear on that. And then the best part of that video or that podcast with Tim Pool was when Tim called her out, and I think I have this on my YouTube as well in a short. Tim called her out saying, if they're going to go by Jane Doe's, which means they're going to remain anonymous throughout this whole court proceeding, because they're potentially going to court or they're taking Andrew to court in some capacity, that's their goal eventually. If she had mentioned that they might stay anonymous, and Tim was like, well, if they can't stay anonymous if it's a criminal proceeding, so are you saying this is a civil case, meaning they're going after money? And she goes, just very much, it was clear she wasn't expecting Tim to say that. Tim maybe knew a little bit more about the law than she had anticipated, and she looked very uncomfortable answering that. And then she basically answered it by saying, well, we'll have to see who else comes out. So in other words, if we're gonna remain anonymous, depends on who else, what other potential victims come out. And this whole thing, guys, with like people believing that because someone alleges something about you that it's true, is a very slippery slope. Like, it's very dangerous, because if you start having success and become a well-known person, especially if you have money, especially if you're a man, because let's face it, they don't like men right now. If you become that, if you become something that's well-known, that people are starting to gravitate towards, that's making a lot of noise, that's actually going against the establishment, it's very simple for someone on the other side of the aisle, or not even politically, but just someone that just doesn't like you, or someone that just wants to chase some clout like Eliza, because I think she would align very well in many ways, assuming that Eliza Bleu is actually, you know, what she believes in terms of what she portrays on Twitter. I think she would align well with Andrew Tate. So it's not even that they oppose each other ideologically. It's just that it could be, at least, that you see this, or someone sees this as an opportunity for themselves in some capacity, whether it be for money. Like, if this were a civil case, they would undeniably be going after money. You know, there's no criminal and civil overlap in terms of, like, automatically at least. And so it's very slippery, because I can say anything I want about someone. Like, if I wanted to right now, if I wanted to just garner up some clout because I, you know, am a piece of shit person, I could call Vice and be like, hey, Andrew Tate, you know, did something horrible to my sister. You know what I mean? Or I could just say like, oh, I watched that guy, he beat the shit out of like 4 people for no reason, or he beat up these, like, I could make up whatever I wanted and they would entertain it, and I guarantee you they would publish it. Like, if I came off as convincing enough, at least just enough convincing for them, they would publish it. That's my opinion of them, right? Like, I mean, that's what they've done with what they've published so far about Tate. Like, it's been clearly a hit job, And as I mentioned in one of my YouTube shorts again, like, even if Tate is guilty, the mainstream media has shot themselves so hard in the foot because they made it look like they're lying. Or because they have been embellishing things and taking things out of context. It's like, dude, if he's guilty, you guys are doing a hell of a job of drawing a cast of doubt from the public just based on how you've gone about this whole thing. How you clearly don't like him, and how you clearly are out to get him in some capacity, you know? And so, like, it really, they're not doing themselves any favors. Eliza Bleu has really not done herself any favors. And even like right now on Twitter, everybody's questioning all this stuff. I've posted many clips of all these things that I'm alleging right now, is in terms of what she said on video and how it contradicts with what her current personality. Like, dude, her video of As Eliza Knows, when she's being interviewed at one point, the way she talks is completely different in terms of accent. Like, it's clearly a fake. When you look at it now, the way she talks now, it's a fake accent she was using. So these are things that we know for sure. You know, my opinion of her, I mean, I would have no other way to have an opinion on her other than to say she's full of shit in some capacity. I hope she's not lying about having gone through these terrible things, because that would really be horrible. However, the Andrew Tate supporter fan inside of me is like, damn, if we can basically, and just in the court of public opinion, if we look at Eliza and we say, dude, she's full of shit, and she's the one that's putting her reputation that we thought was a good reputation on the line to portray that Tate is this monster. Well, if in fact, you know, we can cast enough doubt based on her own words and actions and how she's gone by all these different names, we can at least cast some doubt as to whether her credibility is something we should trust when determining if Andrew Tate is innocent or guilty. So, I don't know. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Talk to you guys later. Peace.